Good morning and welcome to our August 5th City Commission meeting. Deborah, could we have a call to order? A roll call.
Certainly, just a moment. Vice Mayor Carter.
Present.
And we have Commissioner Vignola.
Here.
Commissioner Simmons.
Here.
City Manager Babinick.
Here.
City Attorney Hearn.
Here.
And the other two will be joining us momentarily. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. If we could take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. City Manager Babinick, could you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I have a flag right outside my window, so that's good. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, visible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. And City Attorney Hearn, if you could read our virtual statement, please.
Yes, ma'am. This meeting is being held in accordance with Coral Springs Resolution 2020-16 due to the ongoing state of emergency and recommendations from all public health authorities. The City of Coral Springs recommends that all persons view and participate in the meeting through electronic means. This meeting can be viewed on City TV, Bluestream Channel 726, 25, 25.7, and AT&T Uverse Channel 99, or online at coralsprings.org/CityTV, and can be heard on City Radio 1670 AM. For those individuals who do not have access to view the meeting by any virtual means provided above, the city is providing access right now to view the meeting outside the Coral Springs Municipal Complex at 9500 West Sample Road. If you plan to attend, please wear a mask, practice social distancing, and someone will be out there to help you. Public comment will receive today by phone and email. The local call-in number is 954-344-5900. To submit a written public comment, please complete the form located at coralsprings.org/public comment. For those of you attending outside, a method will be provided for you to call in. Vice Mayor, meeting's yours.
Thank you, City Attorney. So we have no recognitions or proclamations today. Do we have anyone registered for public comment?
Hi, Vice Mayor. This is Deborah. Yes, we do have one speaker. Mr. Matt Horn, just called in. So we just need to get our switchboard to connect him to the call.
All good.
And that may take a moment. What happens is that Robert contacts the speaker and connects him somehow magically into our meeting.
Got it.
Vice Mayor, I have the caller on the line.
Thank you.
Hi, Vice Mayor, and hi, Commission. My name is Matt Horn. I currently live at 1130 Northwest 97th Drive. I want to first off by saying thank you for your service during all of the unprecedented times that we're going through. So I really do appreciate all of your hard work and dedication to the city of Coral Springs. I'm calling today due to a number of factors. I just graduated from a state university a few months ago, and being a citizen in the city of Coral Springs, unfortunately my network connectivity was not to the proper specifications that it would have held for me to be a student, as well as for people in my area. And I'm calling today. I wanted to see if the city can do something in benefits to making sure networking is a top priority for citizens. So making sure that home and internet connectivity is number one priority. Currently in my area, I only have 6 megabytes per second for my home internet, and my cell phone is faster than that. And I just would rather have an opportunity to be able to connect and work home and stuff of that nature. And especially since with all these Broward County school students being able to go from home and doing virtual school, I think is very, very important and imperative to make sure that our network connectivity is important for our residents here in the city of Coral Springs. So that's something that maybe the city can look into, making sure throwing infrastructure back into the city, making sure our networking is on point and stuff of that nature. That would be great. But overall, I think you guys are doing a great job with making sure that everyone's socially distanced, doing their part of wearing masks and making sure that everyone's doing everything. So I commend you on all of that. I just want to make sure that our internet connectivity levels are able to withstand the needs of our students as well as our faculty and stuff of that nature. So thank you guys very much for your time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Horn, for your comments. We appreciate them. Just for the record, the city doesn't stop anyone from coming in to lay their cables. It's open to everyone. So it has to be a server issue for your neighborhood, but we thank you for your concerns. And if there is something we can do about it, we certainly will. Thank you. Anybody else, Deborah?
I'm not aware of any other speakers. No one is outside currently.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to our public hearings and special announcements. Attorney Hearn and Dale Pastra.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is ordinance 2020-106, which is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending section 12-48 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coral Springs entitled Service Retirement Benefits in order to be consistent with the recently negotiated collective bargaining agreement, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is a request to hold a public hearing, approve, and set second reading for August 19, 2020. And I believe Dale's here to talk about it if you need to talk further about it.
Good morning. This is Melissa. I am also here if you have questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Melissa or Dale? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. Motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I can't hear anybody.
Yeah, that's an aye for me. That's an
Okay.
I'm in favor of it. I just wanted to make sure that staff went on the record that they're in favor of this. I reached out to the union, Steve Cross. I know they felt that this was a good thing for them and the city. Yeah, I'm in favor.
Very good. Any other comments? Okay, passes unanimously. Did I hear the mayor?
You did. I'm still not on video. I'm
Okay.
walking into my office now.
Okay,
I'll see you in about a minute.
okay, we will continue. Item
I
number
did vote yes.
Item number 2.
Item number 2 is ordinance number 2020-108, which is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, repealing Chapter 3 of the Code of the City of Coral Springs, entitled Administrative and User Fees in its entirety, repealing Section 13-1 of the Code of the City of Coral Springs, entitled Police Department Administrative Service Fees in its entirety, amending certain sections of the Code of the City of Coral Springs to maintain consistency, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. This is a request to hold a public hearing, approve, and set second reading for August 19 of 2020. What this is doing is we have several fees in our ordinances, and in order to be able to stay on top of those more, we're repealing this, and we'll be bringing a resolution for second reading, which is going to outline those fees and tie them also to the consumer price index. There's also in this ordinance 2 separate areas. Our police fees are separate from the administration fees, so you'd have to kind of search for those. So this will keep them all together in a resolution, which can be easily provided to anyone who's looking at what our fees are. So it's request to hold a public hearing and then approve.
Okay, do we have any public comment? Hearing none, I need a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Carries unanimously. Mr. Mayor, you ready?
No, you keep going. Give me another minute. Thank you.
Item number 3, Ms. Gibbon.
Item number 3 is 2020-112. In order to the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending certain sections of the Land Development Code of the City of Coral Springs to maintain consistency for user fees, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. Request to hold public hearing, approve, and set second reading for August 19th of 2020. This really is a companion ordinance to the last one we just did, because the Land Development Code is a separate code from the municipal code. And so this references the municipal code which we are appealing. So this just amends it in order to reflect that change. Again, request to hold a public hearing, then approve.
Okay. Any public comment? Seeing none. Motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
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 Carries unanimously.
Okay, Vice Mayor, thank you so much. Sorry to be late, everybody. We are on to item 4. We're on to consent, Vice Mayor.
Item 4.
All right, item 4, ordinance 2020-116, first reading of the budget amendment.
This is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, pursuant to Section 166.041 Florida statutes, to amend Ordinance 2019-124 as amended by Ordinance 2019-126 and Ordinance 2019-128. Finalizing and adopting the annual operating budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2019-20 by amending Exhibit A, the annual operating budget, and Exhibit B, the capital improvement program, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for effective date. This request to hold a public hearing, approve, and set second reading for August 19th of 2020.
Great, thank you very much. Is there a presentation from Catherine Frank?
It's just a quick explanation and overview, no formal presentation. Catherine, you just want to give us an overview of this?
Yes, this goes along with the Coconut Creek ILA that was already approved, and this is recognizing the revenue that will be coming our way so we can expend those funds. We will have 2 ads of staff this fiscal year, and I'm looking forward to that partnership.
Great, thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everyone. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to be heard? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Okay.
Moved and seconded by Vice Mayor Carter. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, carries unanimously. We are on to the consent agenda. Are there any polls? All right, without any polls, would you like to move it, Commissioner?
I'll move, but I'd like to pull number 5.
Sure. So we'll move 6 and 7. We'll pull number 5. Is there a second for 6 and 7?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, carries unanimously. So number 5, Commissioner.
Yeah, I just wanted to pull this out to take a look at, we've heard from a lot of our residents, the Wiles Road improvements on the eastern side of Wiles that was being done by the county, that it took a little long, and there was, I know Team Political Forum was brought up 2 years in a row. But this is something I think that needs to happen. The agreement with the city, we're not doing the work. Again, this would be the county, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, but the landscaping enhancements we would have to go ahead and maintain moving forward, but the county would go ahead and put in all those improvements, which I think the landscaping that they did on the eastern side of Wiles Road is more in line with what we're looking for, at least this commission. So I just wanted to highlight that, and I'll go ahead and move it.
Great, thank you, Larry. Any other discussion on this? I'm sorry, we need a second.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries unanimously.
Mayor, does Commissioner Vignola want that want me to comment on the record about the landscape as far as what happens with that when they're done with the project?
You may as well, for sure.
So basically what happens is Broward County does all the improvements and they install the landscaping. There is no cost to the city for the construction, but upon completion, the city does take over the maintenance of that landscaping along that corridor. So Commissioner Vignola is correct in what he's saying. It's not a city project, but when it is complete, we do the maintenance.
Great. All right. Very good. Thank you. We did vote on that, right? All right. We're moving on to ratification of number 8, Emergency Order 2020-01, second amended and reissued regulations on housing for vulnerable populations.
Mayor, this is, as you said, a second amendment to our very first emergency order. Our very first emergency order was to go ahead and protect our vulnerable population, nursing homes and assisted living facilities. And as the virus has changed and progressed in different ways, we have amended this twice. This amendment further tightens the protections for our senior citizens who are in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Having the requirement of denying anyone that has flu-like symptoms or has been with someone that has that, and also having them sign a compliance with the emergency order attestation. The fire department, code enforcement, police, manager's office have really been very aggressive in protecting our nursing homes and assisted living facilities, adult daycares, et cetera. And this order has been part of that assistance to doing that. And it's been very helpful, I think, to protect our citizens as we move forward. So this is simply to ratify that order.
Great. I wouldn't mind adding a little bit more detail about the symptoms so that we can have some greater clarification. So Frank, what are some of the signs and symptoms that we can add to Part 7B of this, including fever and headaches?
So, Mayor, I'm going to ask Alex Falcone to give us an overview. He's worked with the police and fire department to draft this order. So, Alex, can you address what you wanted to address and then also answer the mayor's question?
Thank you, Alex. Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Mayor and Frank, for the time this morning. We're very, very proud of this emergency order. We get updates regularly from the Florida Department of Health that show across the county where cases are in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Continuously and constantly, our city has a very limited number of exposures. That's directly related to our efforts, directly related to the efforts of our police departments, our fire department, our code officers, as well as other city staff. To answer your question on the signs and symptoms, we can certainly add some additional language in there. Most common signs and symptoms are a dry cough, fever, fatigue, gastrointestinal distress, as well as general weakness. So that it's kind of a combination of effects. You could also have a sore throat, stuffy nose. So all the normal signs and symptoms of the flu are something that you would have associated with this virus. I do know Chief McNally has a pretty detailed breakdown of some of the success numbers. I would certainly, if you yield him the time, Mayor, I would certainly share that.
I would appreciate that. Good morning, Chief.
Morning, Commission, Mayor and Vice Mayor. We're really excited with what the results of this has been. The first emergency order we followed was a weekly submission to everyone, and I do not have my video on. So it's a weekly submission, and over the 16-week period of the order, we were running about a 25% compliance rate. I can tell you that with this new emergency order, making sure that they're compliant with ACA's orders for the screening and testing of their staff, along with the additional items that we've done, we've had a high success rate. And on last submission, we're at 100%. So that 100%, and I received an email from ACA, from the representative saying, and I'll quote it, "I can tell you at this time, I'm not aware of any ALFs or nursing homes that we have found out of compliance with required staff testing." And that's huge. And that's success from everybody that's been involved, from the city attorney's office to the city manager, development services, the police department, emergency management. And we're excited with the compliance that we're receiving.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. So if we can have a motion with a request to ratify, I guess, so Frank, you're okay with my request to put in those details that Alex just shared?
We would, I'd have to ask John because I think we've already implemented. How does that work, John? It would be another revision, right?
Right. So what we could do right here and now is authorize the additional symptoms to be put in a third amendment, which you could approve right now. So I wouldn't need to bring it back.
Great.
That'll be a simple change.
Okay. So this would be my request for one of you to move. That would include dry cough, fever, general fatigue, gastrointestinal issues, and general flu-like symptoms. Sound okay to you, Alex?
I would just say runny nose and sore throat, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So the motion we'd look for would be to ratify this order and to adopt a third amendment order with those additions.
Vice Mayor, will you make that motion?
Be happy to make that motion as it was stated.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sarah. Any discussion? Excellent work, team. Truly, excellent work. Thank you so much. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Next, we're on to number 9, Resolution 2020-033.
So, Mayor, this is for a 15-foot sewer easement for the Cornerstone development. You're going to see a couple items today for that, and we're happy to have them as this project is starting to move forward. I'd ask Najla just to give us a quick overview of what this looks like and why it's important to the city.
Thank you. Good morning, Najla.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. So this is a request to approve the petition P20-1 of La Boca Partner for the dedication of a 15-foot wide sewer easement on the Cornerstone property, on the Cornerstone downtown property, which is located at the southwest corner of University Drive and Semper Road as well. So as part of the Cornerstone project, sewer facilities will be installed on site, will be constructed on site and turned over to the city for future maintenance. And this utility easement is needed and required for city staff to access these facilities. Thank you.
Very good. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Great. Moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Next is item number 10, license agreement with La Boca Partners for the installation and maintenance of brick and concrete sidewalk, pavement marking, landscape and irrigation, and lighting within city right-of-way in Northwest 94th Avenue and Northwest 32nd Court.
Mayor, this is another item associated with Cornerstone, and this has to do with a lot of that infrastructure surrounding the project, and it's going to beautify the area. It's also going to tie it into City Hall and Skip Campbell Avenue. So Najla, give us an overview of what that looks like, please.
Sure. So this is a license agreement with La Boca Partner for the installation and maintenance of all these improvements, which are the brick pavers and concrete sidewalks, landscaping, irrigation, lighting, and pavement marking within the city's right-of-way. So it's located on 94th Avenue and 32nd Court between Sample and University Drive. And just as a reminder, in February 2020, City Commission approved the Cornerstone Downtown Plat, which included a 9-foot right-of-way dedication to the city. So as part of this project, the 9-foot will be used in addition to another 3 feet to install a 12-foot sidewalk around the property. And through this agreement, La Boca Partner will be fully responsible for all costs associated with the installation and maintenance of all the improvements within the sidewalk, and including the associated energy cost. Thank you.
All right, very good, Najla. Thank you so much. It's a request to approve. Who'd like to move it?
Move to approve.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Simmons, second by Commissioner Vignola. Any discussion?
Yes, I had a question.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I brought this up yesterday in agenda briefing just about the maintenance. And so I heard her say that they are responsible for the maintenance.
That's correct, Vice Mayor.
Okay, all right. So I guess my comment yesterday doesn't really matter.
Well, we're still going to follow up on it. And the comment yesterday had to do with the sub base of the brick pavers. We're still going to work with them on that to make sure that whatever they're installing there has longevity to it and is as maintenance free as possible.
Okay. I'm
And
good.
if I may add, as part of the agreement, they have to pressure wash their sidewalks once a year. It's stated in the agreement, but that's in addition to everything else.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Next is item number 11.
Mayor, this has to do with personal protective equipment for our firefighters. This is their bunker gear. And Chief McNally will give us a quick overview on this.
Morning again. So every 10 years, NFPA, which National Fire Protection Association, puts a mandate that says that bunker gear expires, our personal protective equipment, every 10 years. Whether it's in plastic, it's on the shelf, it does that. So based upon those standards and the cancer prevention measures that we've done, each firefighter out in operations, to keep them as readily available as possible, is issued 2 sets of gear. So what we've done is put this on a 2-cycle period, meaning every 5 years. So we put away money over a 5-year period to cover the cost of this. The process that we went through was about a 12-month process for research and development to try out, and it started out with about 8 different vendors to see which gear, one, obviously meets the standards that are required in NFPA, and 2 are functional and resistant. So we went through a trial phase over a 12-month period. At the end, we did a selection process. We worked with them in purchasing and our support services division to come up with a price that we felt was great. It was within $10 of the pricings that we got 10 years ago. We were able to not only lock in a pricing of no increase for 3 years, but we're able to secure pricing in the additional year 4 and 5, along with a couple extra months through the end of 2025, which allow us to make our second bulk purchase, which is done in fiscal 26, securing what we have as far as what the price increase is going to be. So the purpose of the $1 million is to cover those costs of the bulk purchase that is going to be next year for the first set of the gear that's expiring, and then in year 5 when the next set of gear expires.
All right, very good, Chief. Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve?
To approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Go ahead, Commissioner Vignola.
I just want to thank Chief McNally. I know he became our fire chief about a month before all this started, and I just got to say, man, you're doing an excellent job, and we really appreciate having you in charge of our fire department.
Thank you. We had the foundation was set. The city manager did a great job budget-wise and getting things set up for replacement. So it's been an interesting process. I will say that, but I'm very proud to be working for this city. Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Thank you for those comments, Commissioner. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Next is item number 12, a second amendment to the agreement, Broward County Minority Builders.
Mayor, we're really excited about this one. We're getting an additional $502,000 to help our residents and out in the community. And Nara is going to give us a little overview on what this looks like.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
So like City Manager Babnick said, we are receiving $502,500 in Corona relief funds. This is going to be a one-time allocation. It is CARES Act funds that we'll be receiving through the state, and they are going to be dispersing the funds in 2 separate disbursements. The first one will be once we sign the agreement and send it back to the state, and the second one will be, it's projected to be in October. These funds need to be expended by December of this year, and any unused funds will be returned to the state. Eligible projects are mortgage assistance, rental assistance, emergency home repairs, as well as SHIP reimbursement for projects that we've already completed but were used as a response for COVID-19 projects. The city will be publishing a 10-day ad by August 16th to make residents aware of these funds, what they'll be used for, when the program will be available, how they can apply. So we'll do a 10-day advertisement of that so that we can receive our first disbursement by the end of August and get the project going. Broward County Minority Builders will be administering these funds, which is why we are requesting to approve the second amendment to their agreement to include the contract provisions that will allow them to administer CRF funds.
Great, thank you. Nara, will there be any administrative fee, or will the entire amount be given to those that are awarded?
We are allowed a cap of 10% for administration and 5% for project delivery. Okay. So there will be 10 to 15% of the allocation used for administering the project.
Okay, any other questions of NARA? Go ahead, Commissioner Simmons.
Hi, Nara. Can you repeat what these funds can be used for? You said mortgage assistance, rental assistance, home repair reimbursement, or ship reimbursement. What else?
An emergency home repair. So someone who has experienced a loss of income or loss of hours of income, and has an emergency repair that needs to be done to their home, and doesn't have
so I want to talk about the SHIP. So the SHIP is for general home repairs, right? I mean, we already have that program in the city, correct?
Yes.
All right. And so I know there's a very long waiting list that has been been around for a while. I guess my first question would be, before I go into the second one, is when we received those first funds, for the coronavirus relief funds, how much of that, or do you know how much money was dispersed to residents who were in the SHIP? I guess who requested funds for SHIP? Do you have that number or those figures?
Are you referring to residents who received home repair, or the 2019?
Yeah, just home repair. Yeah, not emergency home repair, but just they were doing this through the SHIP program. They got funds because they were either on the waiting list for SHIP or they applied through SHIP, not for mortgage assistance, rental assistance, just specifically SHIP.
Well, they receive a maximum of $40,000 for their repair projects.
Right. What I'm asking is how many people, I guess, out of the last agreement, when we had the first batch of coronavirus relief funds that we received, how many people received them, or how much money was allocated for those towards just regular home, or not regular home repairs, but home repairs?
Related? We have not yet, because we have not received our first CRF disbursement.
Okay, so this is just the second one. I'm curious because I know that we've already had the SHIP program prior to the pandemic, and is there a government tie-in to this, that it has to go towards SHIP or something of that nature? Because for folks that, have not, they were working, they were doing everything they needed to do prior to the pandemic, that they, unfortunately are now unable to receive, or unable to pay their mortgage or their rent. And, I think that if we give funds, or if we disperse funds to folks who, are still maintaining their home, or still being able to pay, their mortgage and where they live, I would prefer that this money goes directly towards those who are currently, through the pandemic or because of the pandemic, receive these funds for, mortgage and rental assistance, instead of just, home repair. And I get the emergency home repair, which is why I'm not talking about that. But, we've already had the SHIP program, before then. So I don't know if there's a legal tie-in or anything like that, then that would make my whole, I guess.
So Commissioner Simmons, hang on one second. So Commissioner Simmons, you're asking for that money to be prioritized to those those types of things. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Nira, is that possible?
Well, I just want to make it clear, these are not SHIP funds. We're receiving them through the state, but they're CRF funds, and they come from the CARES Act. And I understand your question about prioritizing rental and mortgage assistance, which we will be doing. We have not put any CRF funds, and our last SHIP towards home repair. And our last SHIP allocation, 1920, we put towards rental assistance. So we have not been really, we have other funds that go towards home repair. We use some of our CDBG money and our home allocations we've been using towards home repair. So I just want to make it clear that we are most definitely prioritizing mortgage assistance and rental assistance. We've used our recent SHIP allocation. And when I talk about the SHIP reimbursement, I think that's where the question stems from. CRF is allowing us, if we have used any of our SHIP money towards rental and mortgage assistance, they are allowing us to reimburse those funds. So basically what they'll do is any money that we put towards rental assistance from 2019 SHIP funds, they'll reimburse those funds because it's all COVID-19 related.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. I feel much better about that. What I would ask in the future, I guess, when we start, or whenever we disperse, or however we disperse these funds, I would love for the commission to kind of know, obviously not names or anything of that nature, but just kind of, who received these funds, so we can kind of get a clearer picture of who's been applying, who got approved, and things of that nature, so that we can just kind of see, what's going on from, that kind of financial standpoint in the city with the residents.
Okay.
So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Very good questions, Commissioner Simmons. Thank you for that. Thank you, Nara. Any further questions before we entertain a motion? Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Moved by Commissioner Simmons, seconded by Commissioner Vignola. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Thank you. It's on to Commissioner Communications. I want to interject before we go to you all with just one from me. Unfortunately, I couldn't be here at the beginning of the meeting. Otherwise, I would have asked for a moment of silence for John Ruffin. John Ruffin passed in between our meetings. He gave a lot to our city, definitely one of our city leaders for many, many years, very involved and engaged with our CRA. And I would love it if we can have a day in his honor. And when the time is right and COVID is behind us, which I definitely have a vision of. I don't know when that is, but I think having a vision of that is very helpful to present something personally to Dottie, his beloved wife. But if we can have a day in his honor, I'd really appreciate it. So would that be okay with you all?
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that was all I want to do out of order, so to speak. So thank you for that. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
So I agree with you that our city mourns a terrible loss over John Ruffin, who was definitely a visionary and a wonderful community leader. I had the privilege to serve with him on the Economic Development Foundation back in the 90s. And it was just very, very impressive to learn from him as a leader. So I'm grateful for your request.
Great, thank you.
Remind everybody, for those of you who might be or who know people that are food insecure, the Chabad on University Drive, just north of Sample Road, will be having the food drive tonight at 5 p.m. So please stop on by and get the complimentary food that they are providing to local residents and people nearby. And lastly, I just want to remind you, wear your mask. Please wear your mask. This is the only way we are going to get through this. Please. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Who'd like to go next? Commissioner Sarah, I'm calling on you. Great. And you raised your hand at the same time. Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I really appreciate your suggestion in honoring and recognizing John Ruffin. I too wanted to speak to his leadership. He was a true champion and a change agent within our community, very passionate about education. Like you mentioned, served on a bunch of committees. I too want to offer my condolences to his family, especially Dottie. And I think that it's a great suggestion to honor him with a day. I also wanted to take this opportunity to mourn the loss of another person in our community that really, to me, was very special, and that's Cindy Messina, the owner and operator of Prayer Funeral Homes. I know when my parents passed in 2008 and 2010, I couldn't think of a better place to honor them and celebrate them than at Prayer. And just a very special person, someone that was very, very instrumental in supporting people when they were going through a very difficult time. And then also a very active member of our chamber. So I wanted to offer my condolences to her family and know that we are here to support them. I know a good number of residents have been very satisfied with Waste Pro and their support and services. I know that when you have a pandemic and a hurricane, some things can get delayed, especially with the garbage and recycling pickup. Please continue to reach out to our commission and city staff, because we are here to work hard to make sure that, you are being heard, but also being supported. But we also need to be patient. They too are going through some COVID-19 concerns. And then obviously when you get a hurricane, everyone's trying to put as much out to the street and get rid of as much as they can, and it can be overwhelming. So They are very committed. I know in talking to city staff, they've been following up and been in great communication with Waste Pro. We will get your garbage and recycling picked up, and maybe Frank, when it's your report, if you could just give a quick overview on that. I wanted to congratulate staff on a tremendous accomplishment. We recently were awarded the ICMA certificate, and Catherine Givens and our entire team just couldn't think of a greater group to be recognized. And since I'm a little over my 1-year anniversary, I'm just in awe at our city staff. I was mentioning in my briefing, if I would have known what I know now, I might have ran for a commission a little bit sooner. But they are just a great group of people that are really diving into our concerns as residents and really trying to figure out a great way to resolve them so that the city commissioners that serve as my colleagues and the mayor can make sure that, it can get validated and done. But just a great job, and congratulations to all. I just wanted to give a shout out to Alex Falcone and his team. I had the opportunity to take a look at the alert system that we have within, and also the great technology that went into Coral Springs Charter. They were recently recognized on a delayed press release, and it was just a great tribute. And despite the horrific event that happened years ago on February 14th at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, I'm proud to be part of this commission that was able to secure this alert system, one of the first in the nation, and once again at Coral Springs Charter. We were talking about the ship rental assistance, just great work by our staff. Good that we have the grant. I mean, we've had 26 families already benefit from this, a little under $130,000. So if you're out there and you're struggling, please reach out. There are resources and support through grants and other opportunities that we can provide for you. In closing, I just wanted to say, keep your heads up on the business side. We understand that it's been challenging. A few of you have reached out since our last commission meeting. As commissioners, we're all looking to do what we can. I know especially city staff, some things are mandated at the state and county level, and we have to stay within their purview. But we will fight for you and make sure that you're staying as whole as possible. Our support staff wants an open line of communication. So, please just hang in there. We know that we're going through a difficult time. It's easy for some of us to say that because we're not in the business world, but believe me, your success is our success. And we understand the ultimate goal, and that's to survive this current pandemic and the hand that we've been dealt. So for those of you that may need to reach out to me, my cell phone number is 954-612-7114. And as always, I want to thank Luam. She just does a great job taking care of our commission. I couldn't think of someone that keeps us more in order than her. And I just really appreciate you on a daily basis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate all of your acknowledgments, Commissioner Sarah. And what Commissioner Sarah said about the businesses, all 5 of us feel that way. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, Commissioner.
All right. Good morning, everyone. The first thing I want to say is, I did not get an opportunity to meet Mr. Ruffin. I think as I kind of started to come around the city, I wanted to sit down with him. If you know me, I will talk to anyone I want to talk to folks, and he was well respected in the community. I think at the time he was living in North Carolina or something of that nature. So I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I did develop a really good relationship with Ms. Dottie, and I love seeing her. And, so I just want to send my condolences out to, the Ruffin family and everything that they're going through. It's not lost on me. I heard while I was campaigning, I heard plenty about, the impact he had in this community. And so, I'd like to think that if it were not for John Ruffin, there would be no Joshua Simmons. And so I am, very appreciative of the legacy he left here. And so, I'm going to write Ms. Dottie a letter and kind of just, express my condolences, but I want to do it on the record as well. And so, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing up the creating a day and honoring the Ruffin family, whenever we are able to physically do it. The second thing, on Wednesday, August 12th, we will be debuting the first episode of Conversations with the Commissioner. This video series will discuss challenges and issues that we all face as a community. Our special guest for this first episode is Chief Clyde Perry. So I hope you all will, the city's going to tease it out and put out the video. I hope you all watch and enjoy it. We had a really good conversation yesterday, socially distant, of course. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Lynn and Ryan and Garrett and just, and the chief and everybody that helped bring it together yesterday. I think it's going to be a really beautiful event and or video series because we're going to talk to other members of the Coral Springs Police Department as well. And we're just going to kind of work our way through a lot of the issues and things that we face together as a country and a city. So again, that's Wednesday, August 12th, Conversations with the Commissioner. Really excited for that. The second thing I want to go, third thing I guess I want to talk about is, yesterday there was an article, I wrote an op-ed and it was released in the Sun Sentinel, and it was about Charter Schools USA and the confusion surrounding teachers reporting physically back to the school buildings. And I wrote this op-ed because, after, I asked teachers to, if they knew anyone who were teachers, to email me and let me know their concerns because I wanted to know more. I wanted to hear from them because as a teacher myself, I know how easy it is for teachers to not be included in decision-making. I think a lot of times, some folks will just say they're employees and they need to show up to work whenever they need to be there instead of treating them like the human beings they are. And so I wanted to kind of figure out what was going on. And had it not been for all of the emails that I got and all of the concerns that were expressed, I probably would have never written that op-ed because there wouldn't have been an issue for me to write about. But when you start to hear some of these concerns and all of the confusion surrounding what was happening with returning to schools, it became even more clear to me that teachers were not being, they weren't either, there was some disconnect between the operator, Charter Schools USA, maybe the board of Renaissance Coral Springs Charter School, and then the teachers itself. And so for me, I thought that was just very important to make it clear, my feelings and kind of speaking up for these teachers because they're not a part of, the Broward Teachers Union. They get paid less than Broward Schools, public teachers. And so I can only imagine kind of a lot of what they're going through. And so, I don't go around looking for fights. I don't go around looking to be a flamethrower. But if I feel that there is an injustice happening or something that a light needs to be shined on, I will, do what I have to do because that's what I'm here for. It's to make lives better for folks and to make sure that the voiceless or those that feel they're not being heard are heard. And so, it was released and I know I upset some folks and that wasn't my intention. It was just to make sure that these teachers' voices were heard. I know I caught a few people off guard. That also wasn't my intention. I just really, felt it on my heart that, this message needed to get out because there were some serious issues going on with the teachers returning, not understanding what their role was going to be. Some teachers believe they're reporting to work Monday, like they're actually going to work on Monday. And then I was told that is not actually true. So there's something that's happening there. And I'm glad that, if I got to take the hit, for doing that article, but now it creates more conversations and it creates an opportunity for teachers to be heard, then I've done my job. So I just kind of wanted to set that out there because, I just want people to know that I'm not looking to go to the papers every day with every little issue. But just when it comes to teachers, obviously I'm passionate about it because I understand, just from my own personal, lived experiences, how, sometimes teachers can just be excluded. So I just wanted to set that out there.
I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you. Thanks for your leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The last thing is, we also lost Congressman John Lewis. And that's, obviously a bit bigger than the city of Coral Springs. But as an African-American man, African-Americans have not really had true, strong, centralized leadership since the civil rights movement. And many of those leaders were assassinated. And so, when you lose kind of that last remnant of, just that warrior for civil rights, someone that literally was beaten up just to vote or just for existing. It's almost like you kind of lose a piece of your own, yourself, your own culture, your own history. And I say that because, throughout everything that's been happening, it's been kind of frustrating because, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know anything else about any other country. I was born and raised and taught to love this country, and I do. And I think, when people see how passionate, some Black folks are, I wish they would look at it through that lens of like, this is their home and they want it to be better for them too, because they know all of the joy and wonders that can come from living in a country like America. And that, when you look around, this is your home, this is where you live. And, to be treated as anything less than or other than, it's severely frustrating because this is my home. This is my home. I don't want to be anywhere else. I love saying that I'm American, that I'm from St. Louis, that I'm connected to so many other American stories, and that we have this shared culture. And so, when you lose someone like John Lewis, who that's what he did, was to help make sure that this country was its best version of itself, that it represented everyone in the country, that it was a home for everyone. It's a little sad because that's that piece of history that's no longer here, with us. And so, it's incumbent on all of us, Black, white, and any color, to kind of make sure that we all do everything we can to make life better for everyone here in America. So that's the end of my comments. I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate you all giving me the opportunity to continue to express my feelings and my thoughts sometimes. So thank you.
Of course, anytime. I love hearing your thoughts, and I love your passion for our community and for our nation. It was a pleasure sitting with Congressman Lewis many years ago for the MLK luncheon, and he made an impact in our city during that luncheon. It gave a wonderful speech. That was very inspiring, and he's definitely a loss to our nation. Commissioner Vignola, your turn.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, like everyone else, I want to send my condolences out to Dottie and the entire Ruffin family. John was a true staple in our community. I believe he served as chair for fundraising for South Florida and the United Negro College Fund, and was responsible for raising over $2 million, which is very impressive. He served on our CRA, and more importantly, he was just a great guy. So we truly are going to miss him. And Mayor, thank you for your leadership in that and try to recognize him in that way. I think that's absolutely awesome. Something I didn't mention at our last meeting, because there's so many things going on, and I just want to thank everyone involved with the 4th of July parade. That was a great way, I think, to do something nice throughout the community. I also want to thank staff Frank and Alex and everyone else with the preparations for the storm this past weekend. All the different things going on relating to dealing with a hurricane and being prepared, and adding COVID, and thoroughly impressed with the preparations. And if the storm were to hit our area, I was very confident that staff was taking things to the next level and making sure that everything was thought of, and just really amazing plan. A couple more things I want to talk about. Fences. I'd like to see, if it's okay with the commission, if we can have staff look into our fence codes and bring back something related to fences. We have a lot of fences that are worn out, wood fences, shadow box fences. People aren't maintaining them. I think it really is kind of, sometimes they look pretty bad throughout the community. Also, with some of the fences and the hedges being placed so close to sidewalks. For those of us that were kids, used to ride our bikes around town. Nothing like catching that handlebar right there on the edge of a fence or a hedge as you're going down the sidewalk. That makes for interesting times. John Hearn, I think, understands me with that one. But I'd like us to go ahead and take a look at some of our fence codes and stuff, and see if there's anything this commission would be interested in changing. If that's okay with the commission, maybe.
Okay with you all? Vice Mayor, Commissioner Sarah, Commissioner Simmons? It's okay by me?
I'm always down to discuss something.
Okay, you have support.
Thank you. I want to go back to Commissioner Simmons was saying about the charter school and teachers and those types of things. And just to give everyone a little perspective, right? Because I'm looking at things across and around, not only in our area, right, but also across the country. There was a comment made the other day by Superintendent Jeffrey Gregorich of the Hayden Winkleman School District in Arizona. He's the superintendent there. And he thinks it's a fantasy to go ahead and reopen schools. For those people that feel one way or the other, I understand, but here's someone who went ahead, they opened up their schools for the summertime to help kids catch up, because as superintendent of a school, he felt like, kids falling behind learning virtually. And I understand this entire board commission, who also serves as the charter school board, wants kids back in school, wants everything back to normal, but we got to think about the health and safety of things. They had three staff members when they opened up as a skeleton crew for summer school. 3 staff members contracted COVID, and unfortunately, they had a 61-year-old teacher that passed away on June 26th from COVID. So I just want everyone to understand, when Commissioner Simmons is talking about the health and safety of teachers and things, it's, there's a very good chance that you get this virus and it goes away, and but there's also that small percent where something like that happens, and I think our charter school board that we also serve on felt that that was something that we didn't want to be responsible for. I know Broward School District, there was an article last month in the Sun Sentinel that as of July 14th, they had 107 either employees or contractors that were in their schools that had COVID or contracted COVID. Within 8 days, by July 22nd, they had 210. The numbers almost doubled. Again, that's without kids there, without all the teachers there. This is, they're running skeleton crew type stuff. The numbers on that are pretty staggering. This is something that spreads very easily. There's a school in our city that has 7 employees that have been working over the summer and rotating them in and out. I think they don't have more than like 3 or 4 at a time, and they had an employee that got COVID. My preference with the charter school was to keep kids and teachers and everyone home, because we have the ability to do that. I didn't think that was a thing. I don't understand, and probably refer to John Hearn here in a second, but I know when we had spoken at the meeting, we had talked about virtual versus mobile learning, and we were told that virtual was just a difference of terminology, between virtual and mobile, what they were calling it. And I know this, my understanding, and please, Commissioners and Mayor, if you could correct me if I'm wrong, I thought we were pretty clear on any teachers that came into the school be voluntary.
Definitely my intent, Commissioner Vignola.
And Mayor, I apologize. I changed your motion because they wanted to use the terminology of mobile, and your motion was virtual. So that was my understanding on this. John, I see you're unmuted. Do you want to?
Yeah. Mayor, I was going to bring this up under City Attorney, but since we're talking about it, this is probably the right time. So there has been conversations between staff and our vendor, Charter School USA, our management company, about what was meant by the motion as it relates to teachers. So I want to thank Deborah Thomas in the clerk's office. I have the actual motion, and it was, as Commissioner Vignola said, it was amended a couple of different times. So I'd like to read what the actual motion was, and then get the understanding of this commission, but you were serving as the board. So the meeting was July 29th. It was the Charter School Board of Directors. I'm not asking for any action taken today. I just want to get clarification of your intent. And as a result of that, we do not need to have a separate Charter School Board of Directors meeting. It's the same individuals here, and I would just ask for that clarification. So at that meeting, and this is the minutes that I'll read to you, there was a motion from Board Member Brooke, seconded by Board Member Carter, to open the school in a mobile format. Board Member Simmons offered a friendly amendment to include a request from Mr. Springer for after-school, in-person instruction and support for students with special learning needs. In addition, a team of teachers from the athletic, performing fine arts, and physical education department would provide an off-campus program that focuses and centers on our social emotional development curriculum the school is rolling out this year. It is interactive and focuses on the physical and mental health of the children, and provides an outlet after the mobile learning or typical school day. Chair Vignola offered a friendly amendment indicating that any plans made should include the input of city staff and Dr. Intevi, and that any after-school activities should abide by the Broward executive orders, really should be emergency orders. Board Member Brooke and Board Member Carter accepted these friendly amendments. Rita Weaver suggested the board meet earlier than September. Chief Vignola indicated that the board should meet monthly in order to stay up to date with the current information. So that was the motion as it was. The issue now is whether teachers are required to come in. Is that what was meant, or they not do not want them in there? Remember, as the school board, this is your authority and your decision to implement. So I would ask for the understanding of what that meant for the teachers.
So for me as the movement, teachers had the option, and if they did not feel safe, if they did not feel comfortable, their option to not be at the school to teach, but to teach virtually would be granted to them.
Mayor, also, I think the concern across the board when we spoke about this was, teachers and staff. I think that was an important thing, and especially with, if you're a teacher or staff member at our school that's owned by the city of Coral Springs, and you had younger kids or something else at home that would prevent you or make it more difficult for you to go in and go into the office, we felt that was important too. I don't want to have a situation where we have staff members or teachers going ahead and bringing in their younger kids because they feel pressured on coming to work and bringing the students in with them into the building and potentially exposing them when I don't feel there's necessarily a need to do so.
I'm okay about the staff as well. Vice Mayor Carter?
Absolutely. That was the intent, that they had the option.
Okay, just to be clear for John Hearn, do you agree, Commissioner Sarah?
Well, I just wanted to say also that looking at my notes, which is public record, on July 29th, when we met as a board, John Hage, who was given his report, not only said that he wanted the parents to have a voice in the decision, which we heard from 3, but he also mentioned that the teachers would have a voice. So it was pretty clear to me that the teachers had an option. And as an educator, as well as Commissioner Simmons, this is a must. And I agree completely that we need to stay the course like we had discussed on the 29th.
Great. Agreed with you, Commissioner Simmons?
I think you all know where I stand. And I appreciate you saying, reading those notes, Commissioner Sarah. And I'll say just again, for the entire commission, based on the communications that I received from teachers and different things of that nature, there's a lot of confusion about what their roles will be coming up. So it was my assumption that when we voted the way we voted, it was the entire school, including staff and instructional employees and non-instructional employees.
Sure. Back to you, Commissioner Sarah, and then City Manager Frank Babinek.
Yeah, and I just want to echo what Commissioner Simmons just said. Part of the dialogue and the conversation was to prevent confusion. And we had that discussion, and as a group, we were unanimous that we were going to move forward with the idea that the students would be doing distance learning and that staff would have choice. So I'll turn it over to our city manager, Mr. Babinek, but that's just, I wanted to reinforce what Commissioner Simmons was saying.
Great. Frank?
Mayor, so I just want to be clear, is it the direction of the commission, the board, to reach out to Charter Schools USA and let them know that it is our direction to them that teachers and staff are to have a choice whether to report or not? It's my first question.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Second part, I did speak with Jonathan Hage yesterday and did get some clarification. And he said that it was their intent to work with their teachers and staff. And it was their intent, if there was a medical issue or a significant concern for teachers or staff, that it would be handled on a case-by-case basis. I will let him know that that is not the will of the board, that the board wants them to have a unequivocal, true choice whether to come back or not. And then,
Go ahead, Commissioner Vignola. Yes, for me. Commissioner Vignola?
No, my thing is, I understand we want the voluntary basis. My preference before was, and kind of what I was getting to is, I don't think we should have many people in the building at all. I don't want it to be, I did not want, even when we had the meeting, right, to where teachers kind of felt pressured or staff members felt pressured to have to come in the building. I think unless there's a need for them to come in, I'd rather, that was kind of my intent on it. And so when we had the discussion, we talked about the after school program stuff being voluntary only. And that was where I was on the voluntary basis. I didn't think the daytime necessarily should have been voluntary. I thought we were just keeping it off. So
yes, sir. And one of the things that I do want to communicate is some of the teachers do not have the infrastructure, from what I'm being told, at home to be able to successfully deliver a class, whether it's their internet connection or their own technology or whatever. And Charter Schools USA is working with them on that. And then some of the teachers feel more comfortable delivering from their classroom because they have their environment. That's where the whole choice thing kind of came from, is some of the teachers don't have the ability to effectively deliver a classroom from home. So I just want to make sure we're okay with, if the teacher wants to come. I don't think it's if you have one teacher in a classroom and you're not mixing, you're not going to eat lunch together and those types of things. I think I do think it's a safe environment there. But I just want to make sure that that's clear. And then I have one last question after that. Are you go with that?
Go ahead. Commissioner Simmons shaking yes. Commissioner Vignola, you have more comments?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like we had spoken about with the other program, the voluntary program before, that city staff would be helping them, guide them through that process and monitoring to make sure that all rules and executive orders are being followed. I know it was mentioned as a comment by somebody that masks are controversial. I don't feel that they are. And I want to make sure that everything is being done with safety first and foremost.
Got it.
Okay, we have clarity from everyone. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. One last thing. So the employees of the charter school are not city employees. So I just want to have John just reaffirm for me that we do have the authority to make this direction to Charter Schools USA.
Right. This is our school. This is our charter, and this is the will of the board. So that should be followed and effectuated.
Thank you.
Great. You got the clarification.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Great. Back to you, Commissioner Vignola.
Thank you. One more thing I want to tell everyone. Mask. Always wear your mask. Please go ahead. When you're outside, it's not, the more you wear it, the more you get used to it. I'm to the point now where I forget I have them on because I do wear mine most of the day. Right now, I'm in my office with the door closed, so I'm comfortable not having it on. We want everything to go back to normal. We want to be able to go ahead and support our businesses the way we normally do. We want our teachers back in school, our students back in school. The only effective way to stop this is to go ahead, practice your social distancing. Please stop having these parties and stuff. Those of you guys that have teenagers that are out there gathering, please talk to them. I understand it might not affect them, but it might affect their grandparents. It might affect their parents. Wash your hands. It's just, everything starts and stops with you. If everyone is careful and everyone makes this their top priority, you will start seeing numbers going down. But I just hope that everybody really understands that the best way to go ahead and get life back to normal is to be as careful as you possibly can be in the constraints of your daily lives. So, and with that, if anyone would like to speak to me on any issue, as always, you can reach me on my cell phone number at 954-632-7544. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome. So I also want to share my condolences with Cindy's family. I've probably been to more funerals at Crayer than any other local facility. And they've always handled everything so professionally and so warmly with such kindness. I can only imagine what her family's going through. And she was definitely a leader in our community. And if we can do something special for Cindy's family, I'd appreciate that. I'm not sure what that might look like, but I would appreciate that. My gut is that about 80% of us are going through one of the 5 stages of grief, either because of COVID or something that has occurred since COVID, including the brutal murder of George Floyd. The 5 stages include denial, anger, ultimately, hopefully, potentially acceptance. And I'm sharing this with everybody because, I probably I'm making more mistakes these days than I was pre-COVID. And I think it's just important that we share as much love and kindness, non-judgment, patience. I think Commissioner Sarah, you mentioned the importance of patience, and we are imperfect. We're probably even a little bit more imperfect during these times. There are some people that are, really financially devastated. Some people have lost their identity because they've lost their job. I know how that felt because I was out of work for 5 weeks 4 years ago. So it's really a time for us to come even more together. And I think our community is very, very united. Overall, there's always room for improvement. Commissioner Simmons, I love that you're having these conversations with the commissioner and inviting Chief Perry and moving along that segment and bringing more unity and in that area. I appreciate your leadership that way. I feel we've gelled, even more during this time. Larry, Sean, Joy, our team, I'm very grateful for you all. And I just want to encourage everybody, while we're staying safe and wearing our masks and not making political statements to the opposite, just share a little bit more love, a little bit more non-judgment. If you're having a tough time connecting during this time, one of the things I've been doing for about a year, and since COVID, now it's about 4 or 5 months, is the first Wednesday night of every month, I host a Mental Wellness Networking Alliance meeting by Zoom. It's at 6 p.m. You can find out information on Facebook under Mental Wellness Networking Alliance. A couple of leaders in the community have helped me with this. A couple of leaders in Orlando are engaged with this. We have anywhere from 10 to 15 mental health professionals that join us for the call, share ideas, share solutions, and we share, what we're going through during this time. And it's a great meeting. It's open to everybody. It's free. And if you want more information about it, you can't get it through Facebook, you can just text me at 954-494-9872. I invite anybody on this call, join us, check it out for 10, 15 minutes. And if you're not feeling connected or feeling less connected during COVID, you're going to see 40, 50, 60 people with great hearts, non-judgmental, and many of them too do and want to empower our youth. So we also invite youth to the call, which reminds me, I had extended office hours, which I'm having again tomorrow at 5. Those extended office hours have been great. They've been Zoom calls with different residents, different business people, again, sharing ideas, solutions, a little bit of stories about what we're going through. But at one of them, Neil Vogel suggested a mentoring program. And I've also been doing Project Leadership since 2003. It's a mentoring program for youth. We teach leaders to actually lead the program. Now my president for Project Leadership is Nicole Sanchez. She's an incoming 9th grader to Coral Glades, and she's just an amazing young leader. Well, through Project Leadership, they talked about our next program. They wanted to learn how to have a smoother transition to school because of COVID. So with that, we have actually formed a mentoring program for the next 6 weeks in the summer. And we're still have openings for some mentees. We actually have 30 mentors that have volunteered. but we have openings for some high school children that may want to get service hours too, and it's being put on by Project Leadership and the Youth Innovation Table. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch with me about that. We had an orientation yesterday. We have an orientation Friday at 4. And tonight, thanks to Trina Robinson at NBC6, they're going to cover it. So hopefully that'll get some more mentees in the program. But our Zoom orientation yesterday went great. We had about 40 attendees. People got connected, got to learn about professions. And one of the things our teens are sharing with us on this call and regularly is they really want an opportunity to engage, to be empowered, to be heard, and to be connected with us, with community leaders. So if you're interested, and we still will make more room for more mentors if you're interested. So thank you for indulging me for that. I want to remind people that Catherine Givens and our budget department, they've invited calls if you have a need to learn more about the budget. And maybe Luam, if you can text me about the Budget Academy, or Catherine, I want to announce that too. But if you have questions about our budget, you can call 954-346-1723. Catherine and her team love the questions. We love your engagement with our city and your ideas too. So we have our first Budget Academy coming up August 11th. You
At
can
5
certainly
o'clock,
get it.
Mayor.
It's what?
5
At
o'clock.
5 o'clock? Great.
Yep.
And how do they register for it, Frank?
coralsprings.org/budget. And there are still openings.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So originally that idea came to me from my future son-in-law, Win Lee. So I'm glad that we're putting together something along those lines. It's about transparency, and it's fantastic. Thank you again for the day for John Ruffin. He was a mentor to many young men in our community and in Broward, and I'm sure beyond. And, I'm passionate about mentoring, and I'm passionate about John Ruffin. And Dottie, I'm very sorry for your loss and your family. And thank you, Dottie, for allowing John to give so much back to our community. I'm reminded every time I come, because I'm still sharing the conclusion of Mayor Campbell's term. And I wish we had this big celebration for him, as we had planned prior to COVID. But Mayor Campbell's family, if you're watching, my heart is always with you. Mayor Campbell, up in heaven, I still appreciate you. I appreciate you being an early mentor for me. And just thank you for everything you've done for our community too. I have a lot of gratitude, as you can tell. I have 5 kids and 3 grandchildren. Lucas and Landon had their birthdays over the weekend. It was great. We had an outside celebration yesterday. I'm still not hugging my younger 2 grandchildren as much as I'd love to, because their mom is concerned about health risks, and I respect it. And I think it's just so important that we all respect one another's wishes and kind of don't invade parameters if we don't have to. And just stay safe. Numbers are coming down a little bit. They're not coming down enough. And we got to keep taking precautions. We have a mask wearing campaign that should be out soon. Also want to share about the city, the Coral Springs Chamber of Commerce, along with Coconut Creek, have a buy local campaign. So I just want to read from what Cindy had shared with me. There's a contest to support local businesses, and there'll be an opportunity to win $200 for people who send in receipts for purchases in local businesses. So we're asking you, encouraging you, and we're going to reward you for buying local. In addition, for people who post photos supporting local businesses, which a lot of us have been doing, which is awesome, there'll be an option for them to win $200 as well. So our goal, the Chamber's goal, is to support our local community. So we're encouraging you to buy local. My last thing, because I'm tired of hearing myself talk, actually, I feel like I've been going on a little too long, is with what Sean said, gave me an idea for our business owners to have an open discussion with our Economic Recovery Task Force. So what I'm asking you, Frank, if I have support of the commission, is to allow the Economic Recovery Task Force to hold an interactive meeting with business people to share best practices, to share stories, but to also learn from some of our community leaders that have been involved in the Economic Recovery Task Force, to learn from them. So if I can have the support of the commission for whatever that might look like, I'd really appreciate it. Okay with you all? Vice Mayor? Yes, Commissioner Vignola? All right, I appreciate it. And then lastly, if you need me, you can get me on my cell, 954-494-9872. I encourage you all, be patient, be kind, and be safe. Frank, over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo something you said about our commission working together and being supportive. We're very fortunate to have such an engaged commission and caring commission, and I know I do, and staff truly appreciates that and appreciates you guys. I do want to just recognize our staff for their response to Hurricane Isaias, and being ready, as Commissioner Vignola said. Alex did a great job with the emergency management staff, coordinating everybody, and we were certainly prepared if we needed to be. Hopefully that's our storm for the year and we don't have to deal with another storm.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be. COVID, as you said, the numbers are declining a little bit. We hope that's a trend. We'll continue to watch the numbers as we always do. We don't look at daily totals. We don't look at 2 or 3 day trends. We like to look at longer term trends. So we're not sure how the storm really affected those numbers. So we want to see a couple days kind of behind us before we, really see, make any determinations from the numbers, but we do hope that they continue to decline. We continue to work under the ICS structure, and staff continues to look for ways to keep the community as safe as possible. The testing sites are back up and running. We do have 2 testing sites in Coral Springs, one at Mullins Hall, and then one at the Publix at Sample and Coral Ridge. You can go on our website for more information on those, but if you need to get tested, there are 2 testing sites locally. On Friday, August 21st at 9 a.m. to 3, we'll be hosting a blood drive with One Blood. If you donate blood, you'll get a free antibody test. And you need to, Alex, is this something, do they have to pre-register for the One Blood drive?
Yes, Frank. So they'll pre-register online, which will be made available.
Alex, stay on the line for a minute. So I got you. I want to highlight the alert system, and I want to congratulate all the staff. This is a venture that started years ago with our vendor, and I'm glad to see what came out of it. Interlogic has been a great partner in this, and could you just highlight a little bit what Alert is and where we look to go with this?
Yeah, absolutely, Frank. And I appreciate the commission giving me this time. I'd first like to say, earlier, Commissioner Sura, you thanked me for working on this project. It really was truly a team effort. This whole thing started with Chief McKeon's vision to build a crime center. There's a lot of partners, Lieutenant Nick Mazzi, our crime center operator, B. Sloan, our IT team, especially Robert Caggiano, that have all pulled together to make this happen. And so this is the result of about 2.5 years of effort. Both work before the unfortunate tragedy at MSD and a significant amount of work afterwards. What the Alert platform does is it seeks to be a non-proprietary system that incorporates various security systems at a location directly back to our real-time crime center. And while why that's unique is that it allows us not just to view cameras or to see what's occurring at a location, it also allows us to interface with those systems. So we can switch very quickly between cameras. We could see on a 3D map where on an asset we're viewing this camera footage. If there's a electronic access control system, we can unlock doors remotely. We can speak over a PA system to talk directly to potential victims as well as to the suspect. So what our goal with this system, we worked with the vendor, as Frank mentioned. Our goal was to address the after action items and lessons learned that we've witnessed firsthand here in the city of Coral Springs and sought to make our response as efficient as possible so that our responders can get to you when seconds matter most. And in a nutshell, this is non-proprietary, meaning that if there's a business, a house of worship, a school in the city of Coral Springs, and you have cameras, you have electronic card locks, you have a PA system, or maybe you want to build something and expand, this is a non-proprietary software, meaning whatever system that you have currently, we can interface and work with you on that. So there is a grant for schools and other houses of worship through schoolsafetygrant.org, not just for schools, also helping to fund locations such as, healthcare facilities and houses of worship. And, if you need assistance, you can reach out to our real-time crime center, and we'd be happy to integrate your location with this software. So thank you for
Alex, how can they reach out? Do you want to give them a phone number or website or?
Yeah, it's the best thing they can do is go to email rtcc@carlsprings.org is the real-time crime center email address. We also, and I apologize, I don't know the phone number off the top of my head, but we do have brochures and information available on our website that will direct you to that location. So I can follow up, Frank, and we can provide that number at another time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the overview. Appreciate all the work on this. This is a long vision coming to fruition that's going to make our community safer.
Commissioner Vignola has something?
Sure.
Two things. One, I want to see if we can play that video, obviously not now, but on City TV from the Good Morning America story, and just to highlight what the program is and what it does. So if that's okay with the commission, to ask staff to do that.
Works for me.
I think it's a great success. And the other thing is, I want to see from Alex, have we, I know our Broward County schools have camera systems, and I think all their schools, have we been working with them to try to get them to go along with us in this endeavor?
Yeah, absolutely. We did reach out to the Broward County School Board, and we've had some preliminary discussions with them to bring them on board. I know that technically speaking, from the software angle, they certainly can be integrated. There's a lot of discussion on the back end in terms of network security and cybersecurity, as they are a school district and they have some concerns. So we're going to continue to work through that. Our goal is certainly to bring every school in our city on board, both public and private.
All right, thank you.
And
Great,
Commissioner,
thank you, Frank.
yes, sir. Commissioner Vignola, just to that point as well, there is a letter that had gone out to the school board from the city, and there'll also be a letter going out to the county commission from the city, to your point. So we're communicating with them on that. Mayor, the next thing I had, it was mentioned before, but I just want to congratulate our budget and strategy staff on the ICMA Certificate of Excellence for exemplary performance management. That's a big deal. I know that they put a lot of hard work into keeping us on track through performance management. And this award, I know if Catherine was speaking, she would say this award goes out to the organization in as a whole. But I do want to recognize her and her staff for their hard work on that. With primary elections approaching, we're working with the supervisor election to make sure that any facilities that are city facilities that are used are being used in the safest manner possible. So we actually have a meeting right after this commission meeting internally to talk about those plans. But an important announcement with that Mullins Hall voting location will be relocated to the Coral Springs Center for the Performing Arts. Because Mullins Hall is being used as a testing site, we do not want voting to take place there, obviously, to separate the voters from the testing site. So that's going to be moved. It's in the same parking lot on the west side of the parking lot. But that, if you normally would have voted at Mullins Hall, it's going to be over at the Coral Springs Center for the Performing Arts. And we continue to promote early voting and vote by mail. As a reminder, early voting is August 8th through the 16th at Northwest Regional Library in Coral Springs. Weekend hours for early voting are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Weekday hours are 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you're concerned about going on election day, you can certainly go early and vote. Your vote counts. Your vote's important, so please get out there and vote. There was a request about Waste Pro. So Waste Pro has also suffered from the COVID pandemic. They have employees that are either currently infected or are quarantined due to COVID. So there are some disruptions in service. We have to be understanding. Our staff is working closely with Waste Pro to ensure the highest level of service possible at this time. There are not only daily meetings, but meetings multiple times a day with Waste Pro to try to ensure, again, the highest level of service possible. So I would just ask that we all practice some patience and understanding. Please communicate with us if you're having issues and give us a chance to help you with those, but please be as patient as possible. And I'd like to ask Juan Robbie if he has anything to add to that or any latest news on Waste Pro when it comes to service levels.
Great, thank you. Good morning, Juan.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Yes, like you said, Frank, Waste Pro has right now 8 drivers out because of COVID-19. So they are doing the best they can to complete the routes on a daily basis. When they see that they cannot, so they notify Bill immediately. And ahead of time, we notify our communication department so they can notify our residents accordingly. All the communities have been recovered from the weekend because of the storm. So they are up to date on those communities. And the last thing that I want to say is the HHW program that was canceled last weekend because of the storm. Household hazardous waste is going to be collected. It's going to take place this weekend.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, that concludes my comments. Thank you.
So, thank you, Frank. Go ahead, Commissioner, and then back to me.
Hey, Frank, what precincts report to Mullins Hall? And the reason why I'm asking too is because I think that's important to let folks know. And also, this happened in 2018, a few days before actual election day. The precincts got switched from Coral Spring, precincts that thought they originally reported to Coral Spring Center for the Arts now had to start going to either Sartori, the Sartori Hall or Mullins Hall. So I guess we got to make sure that, as a city, if we communicate, we have to specify the precincts as well so that people, kind of know where exactly they need to go.
Lynn, can you tell us what the plan is to communicate with our residents on that?
May I also?
Yes, Deb, please.
Commissioner Simmons, to your question, hi, it's polling location E3 and E20. And the nice thing is that the voters are, they used to go to that particular location. It's not until we had our special elections that we moved them to Mullins Hall. So the voters are very familiar with it. And by law, the supervisor of elections will be mailing out to each registered voter within those 2 precincts. They will get a new card showing the location of where they are to go vote. And we are also going to ensure that there are signs up that clearly indicate the driveway to go into.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb.
Anything else, Commissioner Simmons? So, Frank, I heard the public speaker while the vice mayor was running the meeting talking about internet connectivity. Is there something we can do, invite, what opportunities exist to improve internet connectivity that's in our control, if anything?
So, Mayor, I've assigned this to Deputy City Manager Curnow, who's on vacation this week. I don't want to put Stephen on the spot, but if Stephen, if you know the answer to that question, I'd invite you to answer it. If not, Mayor, I would ask that we wait for Bob to return. Stephen, do you have an answer for that?
There are ways. It is something that I would like to actually bring to maybe a commission workshop. Alex and Christy and I are going to work on a presentation. I actually just sent the invitation out to them earlier this morning about this particular project. So
wonderful.
Hopefully we'll bring something to you soon.
I appreciate that. And I just want to thank the residents that are bringing these concerns and ideas to our attention. And I don't remember the name of the young person that was sharing today, but he shared, with such respect and cordiality and an invitation instead of an accusation. And that goes a long way, so thank you to all of you that are communicating in that manner.
That was
So,
Matt Horn.
Vice Mayor?
Matt Horn was his name.
Matt Horn. Wonderful, wonderful. And there is, that reminds me, there's a page called Coral Springs Friends and Neighbors that has at least 8,300 people on it. That might be something for Lynn to look at, Frank, if that's okay with you. I know we monitor Nextdoor and we comment on Nextdoor. Coral Springs Friends and Neighbors might be another opportunity for us to engage and interact with many Coral Springs residents and business owners. So I think, John, we're up to you. And thank you for doing a great job you and your team are doing.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. I do have a great team. And speaking of a great team, you got an email yesterday from Deputy City Attorney Sherry Whitaker, who was monitoring the Broward County special meeting, which, as you recall, about a month or so ago, they had passed, approved sending to referendum some charter changes affecting the regional parks and the county's ability to do certain things in there. One of the items was allowing activities in regional parks for public safety reasons, maybe testing or debris. We really didn't have much of an issue with that one, but the second one was the one that would expressly preempt cities and their land development regulations when they were considering putting something in a regional park, whether it's a structure or an activity. As it is now, it would have to go through our process and our regulations. And the proposal was to preempt that. They had a special meeting yesterday. City attorneys and the city managers have been talking with the county maybe to provide an opportunity to walk through and negotiate maybe how that should better be. And we asked them to remove those items from a referendum in November. And at the special meeting yesterday, they did remove those items. So it will not be going to referendum in November, and we will be actively be engaged with the county attorney's office to see what they really are looking for and maybe get the support of the cities moving forward. So that was good news. I wanted to let you know that. And otherwise, I just had the charter school issue, which we did earlier. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you all for everything.
Great. Well, thank you all for being present today. Thanks for everything you all do for our community. We're blessed to have each other. And Frank, as always, love having you at the top. Like I keep saying, you're the right city manager at the right time. And
thank you, man. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Have a great day, everybody. And we'll see you soon. Be safe.
Take care.
Take good care.